My name is Sean Arbow, and I am the owner-operator of Gunstreet Wiring Shop. I have been wiring guitars now for 15 years, 10 professionally where I sell what I wire, and then 5 years with Gunstreet where I do a little bit more complex circuits. I got my start from I'm a guitar modder, or wannabe builder, depends on how you look at it. But I got my start by just purchasing pre-made wiring kits. By this time, you had like a couple guys who were doing it, and then a lot of just random people who were making their own kits. And I bought some on eBay, and I ended up just having like kind of a weird experience. And then I needed some troubleshooting, which guy couldn't answer, and then just kind of a couple more experiences of that, to the point where then I ended up learning more on how to do it myself, down to how to wire it, how to troubleshoot it, and then if I wasn't doing what I was doing now, it'd probably be something similar. I love business. I'm the weird person who likes the accounting side of it, Excel sheets, just the day-to-day operations and the kind of challenges that come with that. But I also probably would be doing something that is also related to my kind of art and design. On one side of my family, I have engineers, and then on the other side, I have artists. So it's kind of that, trying to find that kind of happy medium that lets me do both worlds. I think my favorite kind of traditional model to mod would be kind of a Les Paul. Something about it, I think it's probably just because of my own personal start with guitars and what I like in them. But I think anything that has 2 humbuckers and 4 controls, 2 volumes, 2 tones, you can get so much out of it that I think that if I was going to start on a guitar, that's the first thing I would look for. I think the most interesting build I've done so far, I think it would be divided by 2. The first would be I got to do a 6-way switch on a single humbucker, which that was kind of fun to figure out. First, how to wire it as a whole and how the circuit works, but just coming up with how many options can you do, how many things can you do to that humbucker. The second would probably be the Eric Merrill Strat build. It is a Stratocaster that he kind of turned into a Telecaster, or at least the wide range in the neck and Tele Classic bridge in the bridge. That one had a super switch, and depending on it, if you're in a certain switch position, because it was a 5-way, just like a normal Strat, you could have it do the humbucker out of phase, itself out of phase, or if it's in a different position, then both pickups are out of phase. And then you had a series switch, so you have the 2 pickups wired in series. And then I had another switch that did a modded series. So you had a normal series, or like my classical modded series you'll find with like my 5-way talent switch. I think there's probably there's 2 ways to look at it, right? So the first thing is one, I ask kind of what someone's looking for, and then it goes through this back and forth of like, okay, they put forth an idea, and then I got to figure out, A, can I make it happen, or B, is that what they actually want, or what underlining thing are they really going for? So that's how I get people have a lot of crazy cool ideas. So I always try not to kind of say no to things, because you never know. I always want to try it at least before I can be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. The second way I would say, where I come with kind of my own kind of again, I'm starting to be known for weird circuits. I think that's where a lot of wiring companies kind of lack, is the idea that they focus on the idea that what makes the sound better is the quality parts, which is debatably a placebo effect. But with circuits, I always kind of have this kind of curiosity of like, okay, what happens if I, match, this main style wiring like 50s, but I add, series, parallel, and all this kind of stuff. And then I experimented with it and it's like, okay, I get the sound, but it's kind of just like the custom shop. So I have this idea what I want from it. So then I try to work around it using, the circuit to create this idea of what sound I'm going for. I mean, I guess they aren't wrong. I really do love what I do, and I would probably keep doing something like this. I like the design aspect of it. I love the circuitry, and that's like its own kind of thing. But I like the broader picture thing, like the holistic product. So when I think about stuff, like I can't think of it just as like face value. I think about it as in like, every little detail. I spend a disturbing amount of time just thinking about the whole process and thinking about people who use the harness and what they want from it and what they expect from it. And it's became such an obsession that it's almost like a bad thing. But I mean, I don't know. It's kind of cool when you do this by myself. A lot of times you don't really get to see the real world. But then when you go out and I meet people and they talk about it and say like, oh wow, like how amazing it is. It's kind of worth it. It's kind of worth driving myself a little bit crazy to get where the product is nowadays. I have a whole bunch of original OG Gunstreet, or even before Gunstreet stuff that I don't want to ever, sell, or I don't think is there. It's very functional. Let me say that it's very functional, and they would, if someone bought it, they could use it in that, but it doesn't look the quality that I expect from my kits. I don't know, maybe I'll sell it. Maybe I'll do a charity drive where all the proceeds from selling those original kits, go to something good. If you do want to see that, make a like and comment below, and I'll set that up. I think the coolest thing I've got to experience is, I don't know, I would divide it into two things. Like from my teenage self that loves guitars and was really into it, I think one of the coolest things was I got to meet Paul Reed Smith. I'm a wannabe guitar builder, so meeting Paul Reed Smith was just like the coolest thing ever. And he playfully teased me about if you see our pots, or not our pots, but our capacitors, we use 600 volt, which voltage has nothing to do with sound or anything, but just solely does with size. And he asked me why we use that when a circuit or guitars have less than a volt go through it. And I just said, because it looks good. And he chuckled and said, that's the right answer. So I think that's probably one of the coolest things so far that's happened to me, that was just like the 15-year-old myself, just like, I fanboyed. My wife made fun of me because I fanboyed the whole time. And then I think the other side, just the day-to-day, what kind of gets me through it is just kind of dealing with, you meet so many people and you meet so many kind of like interesting, cool, different people. So when you have those moments where something you create has an impact on someone, and they are, they might be struggling, or they might be doing, just having a hard time, and they talk about how like that helped them get back out of something. I think that's the best thing. There's sometimes where, at one point I had 3 jobs, and I was working like 80 hours a week, 88 plus hours a week. And when I was thinking about going to Gunstreet full time, I was like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna work less. That's not the case. I still probably work about 80 hours a week. But when you have someone who has those kind of comments to about it and reviews and saying how, like, you know, something I did helped them so much, it really makes that like really stressing out. You know, my beard is graying because of how much, you know, work I put myself through. So that was kind of, I think that's the number one thing, is just the best part of my job is the people. If you guys like this video and you want to see it again, feel free to like and comment. Tell me questions you want me to answer next time. If this does well enough, we'll do more videos like this. It's kind of weird that people want to know more about me because I'm kind of nobody. But thank you guys. Make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notice or whatever YouTubers always say. But thank you so much.